It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, showtime, everybody! It's showtime. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? In mind, that's really a lousy Morris Day. What time is it? It is Geno Jones Showtime. What's happening, everybody? Now listen, I come to you normally Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Today, special start time near 4:30. Okay, 4:36. Anyway, what can I say? Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show on the Geno Jones channel. Please subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Yes, sirree. The clock says Eastern time. I don't know what about 4:38, but the calendar says Friday. But we don't use that term around here on the Geno Jones Show. On this day, we call it Friday edition. Yay, it's Friday, hence the word Friday edition of the Geno Show. I'm amped because I got a special guest, so hopefully we will see him. If not, we will hear him, and you will see his picture. He is a colleague of mine. He's not a friend, he's family. He is truly a brother by another mother, a radio legend here in the radio game, country music legend. He has been killing the game, one of the top personalities in country music for a minute. I'll let him tell you how long it's been. My man T.J. Phillips. As a matter of fact, one of my earliest episodes, when I was doing a weekly show, TJ was one of my early guests. So TJ is a real one. I'm just letting y'all know, because a lot of times you hear people talking about allies, our white brothers and sisters being allies. This one, TJ, is a real one. Trust me, and you'll see it here for yourself. So let's get the show going. Shout out to everybody in my chat room. I see my dude Groove Master Dre. I see you, Dre. What's the business? All right, so this is like the weekend review show. So Sean Diddy Combs, in case you didn't hear, really stirred up a whole lot of ish. Now, let me just say this. In case you didn't know, Diddy's got a brand new album coming out. As a matter of fact, he's got a new song called Gotta Move On. Kid in your bag, stay in your bag. Kid in your bag, stay in your bag. Kid in your bag, stay in your bag. So Diddy, being a smart marketer he is, and knowing how to get attention. Now, listen, I don't know for certain. I didn't have a conversation, but just ironic that Diddy would just make a really controversial statement that really got a lot of people talking about Diddy. And then while you're talking about Diddy, then he kind of retracted and said, I meant no disrespect. So what did he say? They got so many people like R&B legends, like Mary J. Blige and Usher, had to check his ass. Diddy said that R&B is dead. R&B is dead because R&B is supposed to make you, if you're a man, it's supposed to make you Johnson like, and if you're a woman, you're supposed to make you like wet like an ocean. He just kind of snapped. So first thing I said, okay, yo, Diddy, somebody need to grab that bottle of Ciroc. He done had one shot too many, turning her back. Nancy Reagan said, just say no, or please pass the bottle, put it down. No more shots for Diddy, because he done lost his damn mind. As a matter of fact, I'm not the only one that said that. Usher, when Usher heard what Diddy said about R&B being dead, Usher said, this dude sounds nuts. Now, keep in mind, you probably wouldn't even know Diddy and all the music, and you found Biggie. Listen, if you took the R&B samples away from Biggie's first and second album, you wouldn't have a hit. What would the Biggie album be? Both of them. What would it be without, the Isley Brothers samples, old M2 May, James M2 May samples. How about our blue-eyed soul? Well, I don't know if he's blue-eyed, but brother, Sting from the Police. Every step. Come on, the tribute he did to Biggie. That was from Sting and the Police, which is R&B. Okay, just for the record. Because well, that ain't R&B because he's white. It's R&B. Ask Sting if it's R&B. He'll tell you himself. All right? So, and then so many folks, Mary J. Blige had to check him. They were like, well, wait a minute. R&B is dead? Hold on. I'm still out here in the game. I'm releasing hits. Babyface and Charlie Wilson and Maxwell and Tank and Janet and Beyonce and then all the Jill Scotts and some of the new artists up and coming up there. You got, let's see, Summer Walker and Jasmine Sullivan and her. Even Chris Breezy releasing some R&B, and you got the kid Khalid, Bryson Tiller. So many talented young brothers and sisters doing R&B. So it's like, Diddy, what the hell? And then he was like, okay, I meant no disrespect. To coin a phrase from one of my songs, I don't want no more drama. So Diddy, once again, you need to pull back on the Ciroc. I know it's the weekend, but I think you just had one shot too many. And to kind of coin a phrase, one of your own songs, gotta move on. Get in your bag, stay in your bag. Get in your bag, stay in your bag. Which is really a nice R&B song. Isn't it interesting? Diddy would say R&B is dead, but then he just releases an R&B song. Who would have thunk it? Also going on this week, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the man who is single-handedly determined to repopulate the planet Earth. Yes, I just saw a story that North Korea's birth rate is declining at a rapid rate. Oh. And here in America, I've heard like the whole MAGA, white nationalists, white Christian nationalists, domestic terrorist movement saying that, white women are not having enough white babies. Now, I don't know if he's having any white babies, but this man is determined single-handedly to repopulate, maybe along with him and Elon Musk. I'm talking about none other than Nick Cannon. Yes, he is expecting child number 9. Now, he's had 10 children, but tragically, one of his sons died. I think his son was less than a year old. So he's actually responsible for creating 10 children. 9 are surviving. Yes, he is expecting another child with one of his baby mamas. Nick Cannon's got so many damn kids. His kids got their own zip code. Got to wrap it up, bruh. All right? The zip code should be 902, no more damn kids, Nick Cannon. I got a pair of scissors. I got you, brother. I can hook you up. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Keke Palmer. I'm glad that joke worked because I can hear my man TJ in the background laughing. And if I can make him laugh, then that was a pretty good one there. Happy birthday to Keke Palmer. Talented young lady, TV star. Oh, and she can rap now. Sister, she got bars. She got flow. Keke Palmer, you've seen her in so many movies. She played in a movie with Ice Cube. She was on like an all guys. She was a quarterback for like a little Pee Wee League football team. And she's been in so many movies. Keke Palmer is 29 today. Cassie, speaking of Diddy, Cassie, R&B singer, one of Diddy's exes. She's 36 today. James Harden, NBA All-Star and legendary patron to gentlemen's clubs all around America. As a matter of fact, they said James Harden spent so much money in strip clubs in Atlanta. He has funded an entire graduating class at some of the HBCUs. Brother spent a lot of money. So I ain't mad. Hey, it ain't tricking if you got it, I guess. James Harden now playing with the. So for all the gentlemen's clubs, all the dancers, exotic dancers, hey, James Harden coming to a club near you. So just get ready. Drop it like it's hot. James Harden is 33, and a legendary songwriter, singer, and she's an actress. Probably one of the greatest songwriting duos in the history of music. You've heard of Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson. Rest in peace, power in paradise to the late Nick Ashford. His wife, Valerie Simpson, is 77 today. Happy 77th birthday, my sister. All right. So I'm going to bring my guest on, and you will see his handsome face, ladies and gentlemen, on screen. He is a true radio legend here in the Carolinas, in the country music industry, just in the radio industry whatsoever. Talented man. I believe he plays an instrument and a scholar. I like to call him an academic. Just a wise dude, and I'm honored, and really makes me happy because he's not a friend. He's not a coworker. Yes, we are colleagues, but he's more than that. He really is. We really do have a bond like brothers, and I'm honored to call him a brother. Ladies and gentlemen, even though he came from a different womb, we thick as thieves. I bring you TJ Phillips. TJ, my man, you can hear me?
I can hear you. I can see your beautiful face, and I'm just glad you can't see mine.
No, we want to see you, but look, so we got you. So we got your beautiful, handsome face on the screen there. So we can review. So I will let you pick up what's been the most compelling thing. What's the one thing that's kind of just really hit a nerve with you? Where would you like to start off in this week in review?
What day of the week are we talking about?
Well, any day, because since we're reviewing the week, we can pick any or every day.
I mean, it's our world that we live in today, which you and I talk about an awful lot in the building, is, it scares me a lot. It has stopped surprising me, I think, because you just never know what's going to pop up next. You really don't. In my head, maybe the big thing this week, I think that will affect the most, would be the forgiveness of student loans.
Yes.
Biden ran on that.
Yes.
When he was campaigning.
We got him in my household. Yes.
Exactly. Same here, man. Same here. I mean, my son was lucky enough to get a partial scholarship through part of his schooling, and he ended up staying extra time and ended up with some bills that, when you don't have a job, you can't pay. So I've been kind of covering those for him, and we've just about got it all done. But there are a lot of people in this country who simply want to do better. They have the means in their, they have the intelligence, they have the desire to do better. They get into school and they start seeing this debt pile up and debt pile up. And, and it's for some people, it's the end of it. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do, and they end up, even if they graduate, they end up working a job that doesn't pay what they hoped they would make. And they end up working maybe 2 jobs to try to get all that stuff paid. And with everything that, the price of everything going up, I don't know how young people are making it. I really don't. And I think giving about a third of the population in the United States a break, I'm talking working people here. I'm not talking about the CEOs of major corporations. I'm talking about everyday working people who now get a break. And it's not like it's massive. I'm talking, $10,000. That's a lot to some people.
Yeah.
And the people that are raising the most hell about it right now, they wipe their butts with $10,000, but it's an election year, so they're going to go ahead and make all the noise they can make about it. They don't care about you or your kid or me or my kid. It's all just about, anyway. To me, I think Biden came through with this. Of course, it's going to go to court, and they'll fight this thing. They'll fight it and fight it and fight it. So I don't know when it'll take place, but I think it's a step in the right direction to help people get out of poverty. We got to educate, and we got to let people be able to afford to go to school. And this is a step in the right direction. That's the big one for me this week.
So let me piggyback on that, TJ. You know what's funny is it's really like tragic irony to me. So the folks that are complaining the most, it's funny. Let me just say this. Why is it hypothetical, but you can answer? Why is it that when this country gives tax breaks to billionaires and CEOs, like you mentioned, and large corporations, it never seems to affect inflation in a negative way? We can't give these CEOs, or we can't give these billionaires, or we can't give them a tax cut. That will make inflation be out of control. But when it comes to trying to give working class people, poor working class, middle class people, some kind of break, all of us is always a problem. Well, you're going to make them lazy. Oh, well, there's a moral hazard. Oh, well, inflation is going to go out of control. But I didn't hear that when, Orange Hitler gave these billionaires and CEOs a tax cut. Somehow, it didn't affect inflation at all. Can you understand that? I don't understand that.
The argument they're making is that, okay, they're going to have that extra $300 a month that they've been paying on those loans. They're going to go out and spend that and just buy stuff because they can buy stuff, but let's get real here. That extra $300 might help them stay in an apartment now. That extra $300 might help them buy enough groceries to feed the family this week. That $300 is not going to be something. And I had a listener who made this comment to me earlier this week when I was talking about it. He said, you know what? These people go to school and they get these degrees in nothing that they can't get a job for, and they're lazy, and they're just going to party for 4 years. And now they get out and we tell them, oh, you don't have to pay us back. We love you. You just go on with your good life. Said, meanwhile, I'm working 40, 60 hours a week and I'm busting for $12. Look, dude, education is the way out. And if we can get a grip on what it costs to go to school and get an education and have, an informed population, it'll change everything. The politicians, the people in charge don't want us educated because then we're harder to lie to. We're harder to fool. We're harder to shove one over on. If we actually know things, they don't, it makes their jobs tougher. So they want to keep us as far down as they can and make us feel as bad about the world as we can. So we just don't get involved. We ain't got time for all that.
And they got to pay you more. But let me just piggyback. I wish you had a name for that listener. Hopefully your listener is watching right now. So he's upset that, he feels that you're giving away, you're just forgiving the loans of these college students, and they just went and partied and got high and had sex. So he might have been projecting. But you know what I didn't hear people like that complain about? Did you know that MAGA cult member Marjorie Taylor Greene, a U.S. Congresswoman in Georgia, who believes that Joe Biden is an alien and that he wasn't duly elected, that the elections were rigged, all of that nonsense. Did you know that her and her husband, they have, I think it's like a fitness club, they have some type of business. And do you know that their PPP loan for $187,000 was forgiven? You ain't got to pay it. And there's a dude in Florida, you probably heard of him, Matt Gaetz. Now, Matt Gaetz is another interesting member of the MAGA cult. As a matter of fact, he has been alleged to been having some improper relationships with minors. Do you know that his business got a PPP loan for nearly $500,000, nearly $490 million? And guess what? Matt Gaetz didn't have to pay it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Forgiven. You ain't got to pay that back. Now, maybe your friend didn't know about that, but I wonder what he would have to say about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz not having to pay taxpayer money back. That same taxpayer money that he's bitching about just going for federal student loans. I don't know. I see the hypocrisy, TJ. I don't know. You tell me.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, but I guarantee you, in their minds, it's been, they've got that in a different drawer over here. That PPP was just keeping America alive during the slow time, and we had to do that to save American business. Even though I guarantee you, old Three Toes there in Georgia had that money she had forgiven. She didn't. I guarantee you that money didn't go where it was supposed to go. How many people do you know around here who say, "Yeah, I got one of those loans, but I still let everybody go. I just put that money in the bank just in case." It didn't do what it was supposed to do, and then a lot of them got it written off, and that's just a whole different pile of money. That's not, like now they're going to have to pay money for people that, that went to college and had that party while I couldn't afford to go to school. Now they're going to take my money and let those people go free. Again, education is important. Asking questions is important. But when you think you get all the answers, from Twitter, then you don't have to be educated. You just read the line, and that's the end of it.
Oh, Twitter! Listen, you'll be lucky if folks like that are on Twitter. They're on Truth
right.
Social and Newsmax and One America Network, and as I call it, fake news, Fox News, fake news.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just a hypocrisy that I never hear anyone never complain about all the tax breaks. See, it's a handout when it's a working class, middle class person like you or me. But when it's a billionaire, it's like an investment. All of a sudden, it's not a handout. It's like, well, listen, these CEOs, they need a tax break. It's no longer a handout, which I find quite amazing, because they wind up getting more money than you or I will ever get in terms of tax breaks, or it's some like to call it corporate welfare, which it really is. But I digress. So.
I understand. It goes back to that whole trickle down economics thing. They say, oh, we'll give them a break. They'll have more money in the corporate coffers. They'll be able to hire more people. They'll be able to buy better equipment and train people and give more people jobs. You know what they do? They go ahead, and make sure that any extra money coming in is part of that golden parachute that they're setting up for themselves. And they're not going to pay the people they hire enough money to be able to exist in the country we live in today, because they're making so much money and they're spending so much money, and they're paying their employees so little and so few benefits so they can stay rich. It's trickle down, to me, is something I remember when it showed up, and it's never come to fruition for me.
I was going to say, isn't it funny how the trickle down never trickled down?
Never trickled down. Never trickled down, dude.
I'd like to ask him, where's it trickling down to where? Maybe it's trickling down into their bank account or their foreign Swiss or Cayman Island bank accounts. Maybe that's what they meant by trickling down.
Yeah, well, I've been trickled down on a few times in this corporate world that we live in, and it had nothing to do with more money in my pocket. I promise you that.
You and me both. So before I let you go, I want to get your take. I know you and I, we've talked about it, like you and I said, or like you said, a lot of times TJ and I, we have these conversations in a studio, or we see each other in the hallway, or we get on the phone. Because I'm looking at, you had this, so I don't want to sound like a Supreme Court expert, but everybody knows that the Supreme Court basically repealed a decision, Roe versus Wade. So now,
correct.
So the federal government basically said, well, we're going to leave it up to the states' rights. Now, black folks get a little nervous. We get nervous when we hear states' rights, because when we hear states' rights, that means it's going to be wrong for us as black folks. That means the states can do whatever they want to do. They can discriminate. And here in South Carolina, Governor Foghorn Leghorn, I have to give TJ credit. I stole that from him, Henry McMaster, aka Foghorn Leghorn. I say there, son. How the hell did my ass ever become governor?
Ain't
My
that the
IQ's
truth?
probably about 16. You got governors like him and Governor Greg Asshole, as I call him in Texas, and Governor Death Santis in Florida. All these states, they had what they call trigger laws. So as soon as the Supreme Court announced that basically they were going to reverse the decision that made abortion safe and legal in all 50 states, you already had states like South Carolina that had already written these laws because they knew it was coming. And so they said as soon as they make the announcement, bam, abortion, all forms of abortion is illegal. So it doesn't know this. Hey, listen, we get it. The 10-year-old was raped by an uncle or a stepfather or a dad. That's too bad. But you know, she don't punish the unborn child. Let her have the baby and then just put it up for adoption. And it's amazing how a group of men can sit around and make a decision for women. But you know what? Women has said, called bullshit. Women, I saw some numbers today, TJ, that voter registration among women is up like 35%, like in the last 3 or 4 months. You look at so many states, women have turned out, and men who support women and just support having the rights to decide what to do. Because, and I said this before, men, and I bet TJ will co-sign, ladies, men would never ever tolerate the government, you, Jesus Christ, Allah, Muhammad, Buddha, or anybody else telling them what they could or could not do with their body. If we as men, if we brought life into the world, if we had to go through vaginal births and C-sections and breech babies, you could go to a strip club, get a lap dance, some lemon pepper wings, and an abortion all in the champagne room. Hell, you could go to Walmart or 7-Eleven, every street corner. Like some neighborhoods, TJ, they have the local tavern. They go in and watch the game and get an abortion all before halftime.
All at the same time. My dad used to tell me, he was a doctor up in the mountains in East Tennessee, and he delivered babies for more than 50 years up there for, I don't know what it cost, something like $250 start to finish, for 9 months worth of work.
Wow.
But he used to tell me all the time, he said, if men and women had to alternate having the children, and the first one had to be given birth by the man, nobody would ever have more than 2 children because no man would ever go through it twice.
Right.
And he knew what he was talking about back then. But you know what? The thing about all these laws that, and however you feel about the abortion thing and when life begins and all that's an argument that will be had for years to come. But none of these laws have any impact on the lives of the men who got the women pregnant in the first place. Does not affect them in one iota, not one iota.
That part right there. No, you're right. Yeah, good. Go finish
no, I was
your
just
thought.
going to say, that you can tell who wrote the law. These guys got nothing to lose here. They can still go out and knock somebody up. They can still, like that cousin of somebody, they can still do what they want to do and walk away from it. And they're done with it. And, nobody's going to make them do anything. And these women have to live through the process. And I'll tell you somebody else that we haven't thought about here. All these people, all these conservatives, all these MAGA groups, the patriots that are out there that support, our troops and all that kind of thing. You know who's nailed to a wall now with all these new laws? The women in the military.
Yes.
They no longer have an option. And so many rapes occur in the military.
Yes.
I know, I was in. And it still goes on. Story about a woman down in Florida.
Jeez.
She went down. She was the very first woman in her unit. She was in the Navy. She was there 3 months and was violently raped by one of her co-workers. She ended up pregnant. because of the rape. She was not allowed to press charges because, it's just your word against his. We can't, it's going to be demoralizing here. We really can't, you just have to live with this. And the thing with these women is now, if they live in a state like Texas, Tennessee, and the many others who have made it so difficult or impossible to get an abortion.
Yep, right here, South Carolina.
They have to say why they're taking leave if they want to go across state lines to get an abortion. When they do that, they say their careers are over.
Really?
It's done because they're judged and so they either have to lie about why they need a week off or a day off, and if you lie that's actually a federal crime. So they have to decide between that or do I just sneak off in the middle of the night, go get an abortion somewhere from somebody and hope nothing goes wrong. And then, hell, I'll be charged with a federal crime for that too, won't I? So what's a woman in the military to do who wants an abortion, especially the lower enlisted who can't afford to fly 3 states away or don't have a car to drive 5 states away to get an abortion so they can continue their career in the military for whatever reason they need that abortion. They can't get them if they live in a state now that does not allow it. And oh yeah, we're going to support the military. We love our military unless, we don't. And it's so frustrating to me. This is a decision in my head that has to be made by the woman who's pregnant and has to involve the man who got her in that shape, whether it's punishment or some kind of, the guy's got to be held responsible.
I'm with
in
you.
Some way.
Yeah, I'm with you. As a matter of fact, because you have some lawmakers who said, okay, you're gonna run it like that, so we're gonna start child support at the moment of conception. How about that?
Right. Yeah.
And one of a state senator right here, Mia McLeod, she sponsored a bill. Now it didn't pass because you can imagine these men were like, what? So this was the bill, TJ, that any man that wanted to get a prescription for any performance-enhancing drug, for all y'all on the red and the blue pill, so Senator McLeod said you have to get a woman's permission before you can get a prescription. Even before you go to your doctor, you have to get a woman's permission to get, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that would kind of change the way the folks talk about this, have this conversation.
We've had the conversations in the hallway as best we could because we have to be careful what we say and where we say that kind of stuff, living where we live. But I just have to believe, that what they have done with this Roe versus Wade overturn. Give you another example. I think they're pushing a lot of people away. A lot of people are going to be voting on the more Democratic side. A woman in Texas earlier this week, read an interview with her. She said, I've been a Republican for 60 years. My entire, voting life. I have voted Republican, wouldn't vote Democrat. She said, but the last 6-8 years, they've changed. She said, my party has become mean. She said they treat people badly. They don't care about people anymore. And we were the party of responsible parenting. We were the party of good education. We were the party of the family. She goes, we're not anymore. And she says, I don't want anything to do with this. She said, I'm not going to move from Texas because of my age and where I live is where my family is. But she said, I promise you, I will not vote for one of these conservatives, one of these Republicans that call themselves that now in this state. She said, I'll be voting for the Democratic candidates this election. And I think we're going to see a lot of that.
No, you are, TJ. Listen, we've talked about it so many times that, listen, there is no longer a Republican Party. So you all got to understand that. I've talked about it. You have a MAGA cult and you have a cult leader, but you have to understand that this MAGA mentality, this basically it's a racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, anti-woman, anti-immigrant, anti-Mexican, anti-Muslim, and I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret, and my brother TJ has educated me, all right? To my white suburban women, like I've said before in this show, I said, they've come for you now. So now you know how black women feel. But white men, those of y'all that ain't a billionaire, just working class, and maybe you got a little small business and you think that, these billionaires really give a shit about you. Well, guess what? Not only are they coming for you if you don't subscribe to the MAGA mentality, they have already come for you. And if you don't believe me, just play video from January 6, 2021. They came for a old white dude that was part of the club, but he wasn't MAGA enough. Mike Pence. And they came with the gallows they had already built and placed it on top of the U.S. Capitol, singing, "Hang Mike Pence." White man was talking about hanging another white man, TJ. I've never seen that in my life. Maybe you can educate a brother. Have you ever seen that?
No, and I have not. I have not. And I was fortunate enough to live in Munich, Germany for a few years when I was in the military, and made a lot of friends there with the Germans, the German nationals. And we talked a lot about their families and their family histories and how it related to being German, being a member of the Nazi party, being or not being, that kind of thing. And, I see and I hear a lot of the same crazy floating around now here that I heard them talking about then back, in Europe.
Yep. Oh, just lost my live shot. TJ Phillips, ladies and gentlemen, he is a
It's time for a
good
little
dude. Hey, I'm back on camera. Brilliant dude. Thanks, TJ. We lost so much for the live shot. Lost his audio because we had a live shot. We couldn't get him. Hey, listen, thanks for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30. Today was a special edition. Start time 4:30. But Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 out on the West Coast. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show on the Geno Jones channel. Please subscribe, share, like, and binge watch this and every episode. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can catch him on Instagram, IG, Kel Be Cutting Up, KelBeCuttinup. The drip director, the wardrobe consultant, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show is one Allie Jones. You can check her out on Instagram. It's L like Lexi, X like extra, dot, N like Nancy, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, underscore. LX.NCL underscore. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Me and you. Next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We got a big week next weekend. Got a lot of guests. I'll tell you all about it Monday, but I'm really, really excited. Expecting to have Kenny Lattimore. I will share that with you. Expecting to have Kenny Lattimore on the show next Thursday, and got some other guests. We really got a hot show, so I'm really amped to talk about it Monday. But I'm gonna enjoy my weekend right now, and I want you to do the same. I love each and every one of you. And in leaving and closing, on my way out, I want to say, as always, be blessed. Pray for peace. Thanks again to my guest, TJ Phillips. You can check him out. He's on Twitter. Search TJ Phillips. I know he's on Twitter, and he might be on Instagram too. Search him on Instagram, but I know he's on Twitter. TJ Phillips. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Once again, be blessed. Pray for peace.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.